welcome to this dance workshop. Today I'm going to use the figure of the stage as a way to consider our dancing practice, and also to consider how we are choreographing or choreographed within our dancing. So the stage obviously is a place in which we present the dance, but also I think we can expand this notion of the stage to understand a little bit more, how is our dance appearing? What causes our dance to feel present? So as we know, there are many dances which don't use stages in the traditional sense, and yet I believe there's still a quality of performativity, right? Like, even if you're dancing alone for yourself, there's a desire, I believe, for the dance to feel present. Or maybe not. Maybe you have a different idea and sensation of dance when you're practicing, that it can exist without feeling performed. But within that world, I'd like us to explore this question of how does the dance feel its presence, and what kind of stages can alter that. So exactly as we just described, to dance alone, what kind of stage is that? Who is the witness and how is it witnessed? How are you witnessing your own dancing? Is it the lingering sensation of having danced? Is it the witnessing of the room moving as you move, or is it the witnessing of different sensations and experiences in your own body? Or is it a dance with someone? Is it a social dance, a folk dance, where you aren't working on a stage per se, but you're working on a dance floor perhaps, or in the arms of someone else, or within a set dance with other people, where you are dancing for one another whilst dancing simultaneously, right? There's this sort of the stage is multiplied within these types of dances, or in a discotheque, right? In a sort of club situation where there is a dance floor and we are somehow half between dancing for ourselves and half between dancing with and for each other, to sort of encourage and promote the qualities that we're experiencing within that dancing. And then, of course, there are stages more sort of traditionally understood. There's the stage of the classroom, right? There is the use of a dance studio where the teacher often stages dances, and then which we learn, and then we as students in the class are often invited to also stage the dance that we're practicing and learning within the classroom situation. Or maybe it's an improvised space where different stages emerge, ones where we are all dancing simultaneously, and also ones where we are sitting watching, or standing watching, observing, or paying homage to the dancing that's happening. And then there are extremely well articulated socially, I'm thinking, like the social contract of the stage is extremely well written, right? We understand when we go to the theatre the codes and the behaviors which produce the type of stage which allows for ballets and musical theatre and different dance shows to exist on a proscenium arch or an elevated stage, or even perform stages like in the streets, right? In sort of street performance, where a stage is created through the codes that are set by the performer in relationship to the audience that they manage to gather around them. And with those codes, the stage adopts a type of behavior, right? Like we be quiet, we wait, we we wait till the end to sort of place judgment over what we're appreciating, what we're seeing. We try not to make a noise. We try not to disturb. But these are all also very new codes for the stage. As we know, in Shakespeare times, it was quite common that you would interact with the actors on stage, heckle and ask questions, which of course is still a part of comedy. So the stage is this sort of situated, codified understanding where these performative moments can emerge, right? So with that in mind, how we produce those codes, how we work with those codes, how we work with those contexts. Context is a great way to consider this, especially if you start to experiment with the stage in a way of going and doing a sort of public performance, going into the street and manifesting a performative moment in a non-contextualized space, right? Like a shopping center or the street, where you are then working with the codes of those spaces, because of course there are them. You know, like if you lie down in the street, you enter into codification of homelessness or injury, and both have like quite a radical confrontation sometimes with the general public who are using the codes, the normal codes of the street, and of course these codifications can all be played with, and they can be material. The contextualization of the dance can conjure different qualities in the dancing. So with that in mind, I want to invite you to find a number of different stages, and let's start in this sort of scaled sort of line. And as we already saw, there's a lot of crossover and mixing, but start alone. Try to see what type of alone situations you can provide for yourself to create a performative space, a stage in which you can experience, in what ways you can experience your dancing. Perhaps use a video to record yourself one time to sort of add an externality to your own witnessing of your dance, or find other ways to witness your dancing. Maybe within the dancing you can pause and start to reflect on the feelings of the movement, or maybe you try to focus on the witnessing of the dancing simultaneously and have that as the staging. But play with in what ways you can stage your dance while you're alone, and try different spaces. So see if you can find a moment in the outdoor space where you feel alone enough to dance for yourself and to not feel it being performed for someone else. And this is a great test, in fact, to see when a stage sort of transforms into a stage with a potential audience or outside eye, and how that shifts. And then we can move into that next space and start to perform in places where we would be doing it for someone else. Perhaps initially you could record a video that you're going to share with one person that you trust and you wish to be a part of your staging of your dancing, or even invite someone to witness or be with your dancing in a setting, a specific place, a specific time, and how you situate the stage, and where your audience is. Are your audience sitting? Are they lying down? Are they standing? Are they outside a window whilst you're inside a window? Considering the type of positionality that allows the stage to emerge, like the framing of the audience's witnessing. Are they witnessing just with their eyes? Are they witnessing through touch or through sound, or through description? See what kind of stages you can create through different senses of the dancing. And then perhaps continue this invitation to create a stage, that is maybe outside in a public space, where, or is performed when the audience doesn't know that you are trying to perform a performative dance, and see what parts of the dancing acquire a type of performativity in relationship to them, and which ones remain performed solely for yourself. This is quite a complex relationship, but it has many different attributes. I don't think there is like one singular tone that you can create of like, okay, now the stage is it is happening because I'm doing big movements, for example, like I'm leaping, I'm jumping, I'm waving my arms around. I think a stage can also be created through stillness, through slowness, depending on the context of the codes of the place where you stage your dance. You find different types of dance are produced as understood as dance, in contrast with other places, if that makes sense, hopefully. And then maybe look at a dance where there is a element of participation. So try and stage a social dance. What kind of invitations could you provide to create a type of dance? What kind of music, what kind of instruction, what kind of space provides a specific type of dance? What kind of materials, right? Like if we're dancing on grass compared to if we're dancing in a dance studio, or what kind of materials, like if everyone is to dance with a parachute or some sort of umbrella or a fabric or sticks and canes or hats, like what kind of staging of activity does that provide? Or what if the staging of the dance is a type of teaching situation where you instruct through movement, a copying and following, a mimicry? You could even think of a dance which is very interesting choreographically through the lens of a guided tour. What if you take and guide the audience into different stages through a walking through spaces, into places, and creating different situations to stage different types of dance? And then also see what kind of dances you can stage that are more traditional, and what attributes you are borrowing from all the different ways these codes play. Because even when we go to a traditional stage situation where there is seating and an elevated stage, and maybe wings where the audience can disappear and appear from, all the codes of say the street, the public space, the personal space, the relational space, the social space, all of those different qualities and codes, those contexts, are also working and functioning, and you can make them more elevated or bring attention to the different ones in different ways. In some ways, when we're creating for a stage, we're often doing this without it being the main focus of our choreography, of our creating of a dance or of our dancing, but they emerge sort of naturally, so to speak, or they're sort of involved, perhaps I could say. So, and then see if you can even sort of single out, completely work with the stage as codified, and ignore all the slippages and the complex sort of world around the stage, and see what kind of dances you would perform if there was if you relied on the codes that ignore the other worlds that exist, and try to solely work with that code that has been established through the history of theatre and stages. And maybe even try some of those creating of a stage perhaps in a sort of street performance way, where you establish a stage through interaction with the audience. That's also very interesting, compared to the one where the curtain opens and we all have agreed through the advertisement, through the history, through the naming, through the ticketing, through the sort of educations we've had with stages. And then also, just if you're still looking for other places to consider within this exploration of staging your dance, consider workshops, and consider film and different media, sound even. Consider this format. What kind of stage is this? What kind of dancing is being shared? What kind of qualities am I dancing here, speaking and wording through an audio format? Could you stage your dance through music, through sound? Could you stage your dance in pictorial form? Are scores, as we were discussing 2 workshops before, are scores a form of stage? Do they act as a staging of a type of dance? There's these ideas that when we watch performance, the neurons fire in the same way as the dancers fire. So we're sort of learning the dance through just watching, a sort of empathetic kinesthetic response in our nervous system. Does that happen with other types of forms, like a score or clay or pictorial painting, colors, light, sound? Yeah, so there's a lot to sort of play with. And this is the only assignment I'm going to give in this workshop. I could have broken it down and had you do each stage one at a time and go away and spend time with that. But I kind of wanted to throw out the sort of breadth of my thinking around what the stage is and can be, and our relationship to audience and performance. And even maybe we could include in there's a relationship to practice. How are we practicing? Like, how is dance emerging as understood as dance in our practice? How are we staging that? And so use this as maybe a longer form assignment to stage your dance in multiple ways. Come back to this recording and listen to it again so that you can pick out different types of stage that you could possibly work with and try, and see if there are some that I've missed. Are there objects, maybe like tables, where you could stage a dance? Are there books? Are there furniture like chairs or the bed or a playground? I think the sort of broader and more creative you try these little experiments in the staging of dance, the more rewarding it will be. So I hope that is clear. I will list some of the types of stages that I've indicated here, so that you have them written. But I hope this is enjoyable in some way. And of course, I haven't given a clear reflective prompt here, but obviously you can choose to think and reflect on, journal, write about, discuss these questions in whatever way you wish. Hi, thanks for listening. If you can support the podcast, please go to paypal.me/dancepeter. I'm just looking for a little bit of funding to help support the cost of the hosting. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much.